Now for today's sugar-free treat, we're doing lemon meringue pie. We are starting with 2 pre-made pie crusts. I actually always go to the Marie Callender's. Love the flakiness and the flavor. You can also do like a graham cracker crust if you prefer, but I like a pie. And then we take 1 egg with a splash of water, beat it up, and we are going to coat both pie shells in the egg wash. This will give it a little bit more waterproofing to the pie crust so you don't end up with the soggy crust at the end, because we will be putting hot curd into these. When your whole crust is covered, you're going to need to poke a couple little holes in. This will keep the center of the pie crust from bubbling up. You will probably still have to watch it. Make sure you're not getting a bubble underneath, which you can gently push back down. And then these are going to go in a 350 oven for 20 minutes. Look how beautiful they are. We're going to set them aside to cool a little and make the curd now. Curd is so ridiculously easy. You're going to be wondering why you haven't been making it all your life. You're just going to take a pan or a pot. We're going to bring this up to a medium heat. And then we're going to add our dry ingredients, which in this case consist of 2 cups of Splenda, 10 tablespoons of cornstarch, 1 teaspoon of salt. I'm going to whisk this together real quick here. We don't want the heat getting to our dry ingredients too much. And then we're going to add a cup of lemon juice. That mixed in, and 3 cups of water. While this is slightly cooking here, I've got 8 egg yolks that I'm going to beat up, because we're going to need these as soon as this heats up. If you do not keep stirring this while it's heating, you will get chunks. And you definitely don't want chunks in your lemon meringue pie. You want it nice and smooth and creamy. You can be looking at this and say, well, it's white, it's not lemon colored. Well, your lemon color comes from your egg yolks. Now, an important thing to pay attention to as you're separating your eggs is you can get a little bit of egg white into the egg yolks and you have no problem. But if you get any egg yolk into your egg whites that you're going to use to make your meringue, you're done. It's over. It's never going to peak properly. So I always do a 3-bowl situation. When I separate off the eggs, I put the yolk in 1 bowl. I'm separating the egg white off. That goes into another bowl. When the 2 of them are completely separated and good, I take that egg white and move it into a 3rd bowl. And then repeat the process. That way, if any egg yolk gets into the egg white, it's only one egg you're messing up. And you can have that for breakfast. As you can see, we have a bubbling situation going on here. This is thickening up nicely. Now we need to do the egg yolks. So we have them here in this bowl. We need to temper the egg yolks. If we just dump them into this boiling mass, we're going to have scrambled eggs. And we don't want that. So we take a little bit of our hot mixture, mix it in, give it a stir again, get a little more, and we're just warming up the eggs gently. Now if you got an extra hand, somebody that can help you out, that can temper while you keep stirring, that helps. But it's not absolutely necessary. You can see how nice that's starting to look. Give it a little bit more hot mixture and we should be good to go. Now, we're going to slowly pour this in, keeping it being stirred constantly. Again, we don't want any scrambled eggs in here. Get all that delicious egg yolk in there. Add 6 tablespoons of butter. Keep it going till all that beautiful butter is melted. Get it into the pie crust. And now the really hard part. Waiting. We're going to take a little plastic wrap and put it on top of each pie. Up. Lightly touch it down onto the top of the pie so that we don't get a film, because now we're going to take this and put it in the refrigerator for about an hour. Our custard is nice and chilled. Now we're going to go for the meringue. Again, one of the easiest things you can possibly do. We have our 8 egg whites here. We're not going to use them all. We're going to only use about 6 of them. The other 2 you can save and make a nice egg white omelet in the morning. I never get rid of anything. To this, we're going to add a tablespoon of lemon juice. You can use cream of tartar to help it form the peaks and everything, but you've already got your lemon juice. Might as well use that. That just goes right in with the egg whites. And then we're going to add 3/4 of a cup of Splenda. And we're going to start it whipping. You can do this by hand, but I'm not that ambitious. This is probably going to take about 5 minutes to get it where you want it to be. It's looking like we have some stiff peaks coming up in here. We can just pull this off a little bit, raise. Oh, look at that. That's nice. Now, one thing I should have mentioned earlier, when you're doing anything with egg yolks, as soon as you're done, throw them in the sink, get hot water in them with soap, or else that egg yolk is going to be horrible to get off. We're just going to get this up into our pie, spread it around to cover the whole thing. I don't know how thick you like your meringue. I'm more of a lemon fan than a meringue fan. But to each his own. That's why it's so nice to learn how to do all this yourself. Then you can get things exactly the way you want them. Now I got 2 pies here. I'll have one for tomorrow's Thanksgiving meal. And I'm going to give one to a friend of mine who's a diabetic. And let them have it with their meal so they can have a nice good dessert. I like to give it a couple little peaks. If you want to be fancy, you can throw it in a piping bag and make them all pointy and fancy. But again, I have a tendency to be lazy. As long as it tastes good, that's all I care about. I've got the oven on broil right now. And we're going to pop these in the oven. I'm not going to give you a time, because you're going to have to sit here and watch it. Because this will go from beautiful golden brown to god-awful burnt in a heartbeat. We're not going to put them both in at the same time. Just one pie at a time, because you want it in the center of the oven, under the broiler, so it gets the entire pie covered evenly. There you go, a beautiful lemon meringue pie. Everything you could ever want. And you made it yourself. So keep it up. Pies are so easy once you get the hang of them. Enjoy. Don't forget to like and subscribe.